Hello and welcome everyone. This is the ABS Absolute BS podcast. This podcast is provided by nobody because we aren't sponsors, but I am here with my with
Wish
the
you
one.
did that joke that you did on me. Now just play.
Yeah, I know, I
Get
know.
all censored and shit.
Off air, we were joking about being sponsored, but literally we have no views and we only do this for fun. So um I'm here with my good friend, the blunted one, the one, the only, the blunted one. Thank you for being here.
Oh yeah, man. I
Um,
appreciate you for having me on. Of course, of course.
and full disclosure, this is gonna be recorded, and I'm gonna probably put a snippet on Twitter, and I'm gonna say you were right. So the amount of views that we got for the last video was a total of 3, and that was all because I made the stupidity of saying like, you know what, I had this set up for the night before the whole bombshell that happened today. But unfortunately, which is funny as heck,
Did I take
I
my victory lap?
yeah, you're gonna take it. But I scheduled it out, and long and behold, I thought like, oh, you know, it could be that there's good news, and then this episode is stale. It wasn't good news at all for Lakers fans, or at least those who wanted Kyrie, or those like myself that was hopeful, or like it's a
Optimistic.
leverage play, and the Bloodsome one said,
It's not. It's not. It's not.
yeah,
It's not. It's not. It wasn't. I knew it. Um, I mean, dude, I told you, bro. Like,
I
there's
know.
one thing that was consistent with all the reports is Kyrie saying that he's comfortable with staying in Brooklyn, and I think that's kind of what it goes back to. Like, he, yes, I'm pretty sure somewhere deep down inside he probably wanted to come back, or no, I'm sorry, not come back. He wanted to go to LA,
Yeah,
but I think because of like the position that he's in, and the Nets too, like it's a business, guys. Like it each you have to when you look at the Nets, it's a business. When you even look at a player, they treat themselves as an LLC. They are a business. They are their own business. And I think the best thing for Kyrie was probably to stay in Brooklyn and play it out and shoot for the max contract that he wants. Like,
yeah.
I I'm dude, I hey,
Here's
dude,
here's here's the
KD,
victory lap.
Kyrie, you guys deserve an Oscar
Yeah.
for everything, all the trolling that you guys did. KD, you especially. But you
And
didn't have me fooled. You had me fooled maybe for the first week or two. Uh, but as time went on and reports started coming out, that you guys stopped fooling me. Like I just was like, you know what? You know what would be the funniest thing? And for some reason, it just saw in the back of my head, like, what if KD just like just trolling everybody? Like why? Like he's just trolling people. He's trolling fans, and just I don't know. I just knew that he was
yeah,
gonna stay, and Kyrie the same thing. Like was like Kyrie wasn't getting moved if KD stayed. So like if KD
yeah,
continued his saga and continued whatever the trade requests and kept the pressure on and sat out for the season, then we could talk a Kyrie trade. But since that didn't happen, and they're running it back, sorry Lakers fans. I'm a Lakers fan. I was optimistic for Kyrie coming too, but we're not getting him. Now I think it is
yeah,
now that pivot time to move on to something else, and hopefully,
yeah,
I think anything right now that we get, obviously we have to asset manage correctly. Rob's got to get it right, and I think that's what the holdup is because he's trying to see what deals what deals are good for the Lakers and what makes them contenders and what are the fits around LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I give applause for Rob for not buying into everything that was going on and held it out because I think at the end of the day, if we would have if Kyrie really was out there on the table, I think that deal would have happened a long time ago, along with KD. Like I think it's just It's a really shitty situation for Brooklyn, and the pressure that KD was putting on. He's got 4 years left on his contract, so I don't know. That's just a hard contract to move at 4 years, and God, I believe he has trade clauses and stuff too. I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Comment below. I don't know, but I'm glad I'm right. I was right.
No,
I was
you
right.
unfortunately but truly were right. And here's my 2 minute take, probably or less. It's just, why now? Why did it take 53 days or whatever it was to make this decision? Like, I feel like, and I think there was a report recently, like literally an hour before this recording or whatnot, that it kind of, like Chom said, oh, they're gonna move in the same direction, or they're like, there's unity, there's a meeting, and then out of nowhere, the Nets said, yes, we're gonna run it back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then there's a report today that said, yeah, it's this thing's fractured. Like, the Nets organization is fractured, and my goodness, like, all the dirty laundry, all the things, like, I've never seen it to this extent. And I'll just say this: on today's the day that I wasn't expecting this, the attitude that the attitude that KD took, in my opinion, you know, they're entitled to whatever they want to think. Everybody is, in terms of, you have your own opinion, but I th- it felt disrespectful. I'm okay that we moved on, but today, like, when we record, when the news dropped, was Kobe's birthday,
Yeah.
and that to me hit so wrong. And I really did feel
Yeah, as
disgusted,
Lakers
because
fans, yeah,
as
it's
Lakers
kind of
fans, because it's and that Kyrie tweet, yes, you can look at it in the vacuum. Yes, you can look at it like, oh, whatever you want to judge, or what. It's just the whole situation. It just didn't feel right. It did not feel right. I can admit I'm wrong. I did it. I did it multiple ways, even in tweets. But hey,
it's
it is what
bases
it
of, hey,
is.
I appreciate that, bro. I do really do. It takes a man to admit when they're wrong. I
Hey, I
appreciate
I,
that,
I
bro.
am not,
I
and
appreciate that shout out, bro.
I have opinions, but Mister the blunted one, there's a reason why he's number one. But anyways, we'll, we'll
Well,
just we'll
dude, you know
just
what? I
yeah.
and you know what's crazy? Like, too, this is just a little background about me, guys. I've played basketball. I've been watching basketball since the early. I remember as a kid watching basketball. I'm I want to say I have a clear understanding of the game and kind of like how to read in between the lines too, of like rumors and trades and players. I've really took a dive into it this year and been really active on it, and it's been really fun and interesting, dude. Like I I found myself, like, I found a love for basketball, and and everything that comes with it, the drama, the excitement, the tweets, the anticipation. Like, I love basketball, man. This was fun. I love the Lakers. I've been following them for 20 plus years, and this was fun, man. And I got a little bit of knowledge, and I did drop it this year publicly, and I'm just so glad that it act like I was right. I'm just glad I was right, and that I got to take the W on that one. Like,
Take the
pat on the
W,
back.
take the victory lap, and I'm taking it with you too, because there's one caveat to all this situation. It's done. Like, we can move
Yeah,
on.
that, yeah.
Like,
I'm so
it's
glad
it's
that's over too.
like,
The whole
and
Kyrie debacle and KD
yeah,
debacle
yeah, we can move
was.
on from that
I'm
situation.
glad that's squashed and ready to go. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to see what happens next. So I wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
What's next? What's next for the Lakers? Like, what do you think happens now? Like, where do we take this news, and where do the Lakers go from here? Like, do they go into the Indiana trade? Do they go into a Jazz trade? Do they do a 3-team deal? I believe
So
there's a 4-team deal to be made. I believe there's crazy rumors out there. There's
yeah.
crazy things going out there right now on what the Lakers can do. So, like, what do you think? What do you think we should do next? Like, what's next for the Lakers now?
Well, Now it's now we switched leverage to the word pivot. So that's going to be the operating word
Yeah,
from now
pivoting.
on.
I think so. Yeah,
We're going
Lakers
to
are now
pivot.
pivoting.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
we're
the
either going to see pivoting. Probably either we're going to see pivot or we're going to see negotiation talks.
or unprotected or protection or
Yeah,
first or whatnot. Because honestly, at this stage, and I'll say this just to be 0-2, like because that's the record that I'm shooting for because I do want it to happen, but don't I don't believe
which
it's
what
it's gonna happen. There's a 14 deal being floated around, and I don't have the specifics of it, but it would
I would
generally
have to
involve.
pull it up.
And this is all without sources. This is just rumors, rumor mill. But there is a 14 trade where you're linking
I'll
the
look it up real
Pacers, you're
quick.
linking the Lakers, you're linking the Knicks, and you're linking the Utah. There's a lot of movement there. There's way too many there's too much of a turnover in terms of what's it called of players. But in my understanding, uh, I feel that at this point the Lakers just need to get depth.
Yeah, okay. So
How?
here's that trade. I didn't mean to cut you off,
No, no,
but
go
here I
go
was
ahead.
looking for that trade scenario. I believe the 14 trade scenario, or this is hold on. This
Yes.
is
So
Utah, Knicks, Indiana, Lakers. So it's Utah, Nick, and Indiana and the Lakers, and it's Beverly and Boyan, and either Fournier or Conley for salaries to match, and then you would hopefully turn around in a solo deal for THT, a none, a pick either for Turner or Buddy Hield. So those are the uh those
yeah.
that's the 14 trade. It'd be based around one of the something like that.
So there's I
Oh,
have
and
it up
Cam, I
here.
believe Cam Reddish is there's a Cam Reddish I believe is getting thrown in that
Yep.
too somewhere.
Yeah. Yep. So basically,
Sorry, I
how
forgot
it
to
would
mention that. So yeah, so it would be Pat Bev, Boyan, either Fournier, Conley, or Reddish, and then you're turning around to Indiana and trying to get either Turner or Buddy.
yeah.
You already know. I think you already know how I feel about the Indiana, Buddy Hield and Turner. I'll let you take the floor. You can
Yeah.
take this one.
So
Start
yeah,
it off,
just
and then I can go right after you.
all right, not a problem. So just for clarity purposes, this is all fictional or in terms of
Yeah, this is
rumors. It's all
speculation.
it's
Will
all
be
what you
our
can do in the
opinion.
NBA trade machine. It's not. There's no sourcing for this. It's just like I
Yeah,
think the only
I think the only true source that were rumors I think that's out there is uh Bojan and Pat are believed to be looked at by the
correct,
Lakers. That's it. Other
correct,
than
but
that, there's nothing like
yeah,
there's no fruition or anything like that. There's no trade talks or anything like that going on
correct,
right now. But
correct.
I believe that's the rumor is that Bojan and Pat are on our radar. I guess
Yeah.
that's how I can say it.
So here's the scenario. Like I do believe this 14, like we're talking about how many players? 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players and a whole bunch of picks moving around. Likelihood of that happening, I believe, is closer to zero. Is this beneficial to all sides? I believe so. I do, unfortunately, I went to a Knicks space just to get the gauge into the terms of how the Knicks fans are viewing the RJ Barrett situation, and they love RJ, they love him. Like they view this like the Knicks are overpaying to a certain extent in terms of players. I view like this they're probably overpaying like in this scenario on picks. But that's neither here or
I can
there.
give you my trade idea for the Knicks.
Is what?
The Knicks, the trade. I have a trade idea for the Knicks. I think that works. I don't. I would have to look at
Okay.
the money, but I didn't mean to cut you off either.
No, go ahead, go ahead. Sorry,
And what are you doing in the Knicks space, bro?
Dude, you know when you want to know the edges of your knowledge and comprehension of Twitter,
Okay, okay,
and you dab into
okay, okay.
the dark
I
spaces.
see.
So
Yeah,
that's where I went to the
you
dark
get some
spaces.
information and yeah, figure out where fans are at
Well,
and stuff.
here's
I see.
so you know where I come from.
Yeah,
I am a Laker fan, but I try to be as objective as possible
yeah, of
because
course.
I always feel like there's always two sides to every story. There's a truth. There's a complete truth to certain things. But if you're biased to a certain team, like I may be biased to the Lakers, and I want to see how biased I am, and take point of views of different teams, different angles, and just come to a conclusion. So that's how I try. That's my train of thought going to spaces or looking at
Yeah.
other, because sometimes you're so into like this 14 trade, man. Let's be real. It's when was the last 14 trade? It's been a minute. It's not
No,
something.
it has, and you're absolutely correct. That's probably going to be one of the most difficult trades to pull off because of if they're especially with the picks that are going to be involved, like
Yeah,
what's protected, what's unprotected, what's a swap, what's unprotected. Like they can
it
probably fight months over that. That's what
yeah.
happened last year with
Like
if you don't remember with THT and Kyle Lowry, or excuse me, not Kyle Lowry. I'm sorry, with the Knicks, we would have
not
gotten.
not last year, but the year before. I think it was
No, it was
THD.
we were
No,
gonna get off
we
of
had
Russ
no.
during
We had
during the trade deadline of last year. We were gonna pull off of Russ and THT for Cam Reddish, and there was another player in there
yes, yes, yes,
With
yes, 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 yes,
Toronto,
yes, 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 yes,
with
yes.
Toronto. But
And
the
they
reason why
couldn't
was it Toronto?
figure out
Correct me
the
if I'm
pick.
wrong. I don't. I believe it was Toronto, and the reason why and THT was going to Toronto, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason
Yeah,
why that trade like died out was because of the pick swaps or the picks between
yeah,
Toronto and New York. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I can't do that's a disaster. That 14 trade is going to be a disaster. Do I think it's possible? You,
Anything's possible.
I think anything's possible. Look at that.
Yeah,
Look where we're at in the NBA right now. Like, look, this is a perfect example. Look what just happened with KD. Like, we were all buying in to him getting traded. So in my mind, what makes me think that a 14 trade is not possible? I think it's completely possible because I think every party in there is gonna become happy.
yeah.
Who is the next moving piece to move in the NBA? And that's probably Donovan Mitchell, and that's probably gonna be to New York. But the problem is that New York wants like 6 picks. So where I'm sorry,
Utah.
Utah. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Utah wants 6 picks, um, but New York doesn't want to offer
If I
six
was,
picks.
yeah, if
So
I,
there's teams out there. If you look at the rosters in the NBA right now, I believe there's a few teams out there that I believe that are incomplete. Indiana, I believe, is one of them. The Lakers are obviously one of them. Obviously, Utah and the
uh,
Knicks. The Knicks, like
yeah,
we've been hearing the Donovan Mitchell trade for the longest now, and I believe that's the next move. I just don't know, like where I don't know where everyone goes. Like there's so many picks involved with every team. From what I've heard, I believe the Lakers are trying to only get off of one first round pick, and I think if you're able to make that move with the first round pick and keep one, and you're able to get off of Russ's contract. And you're able to put THT and like I want to see none play in a Laker uniform, but if it helps us and moves that needle in that trade package, that 14, because we get like 4 or 5 players back. Like it's like it's crazy. We get like Pat Bev, Reddish, Boyan. Who was the other one? I can't think of
um,
his name right now.
uh,
Clarkson, I believe, is in there. I
Clarkson
think you could throw him in and out, or Beasley.
Beasley. Yeah,
Yeah, you could throw him in out, and then turn over and try to get. I don't think we need Miles Turner. You can probably go in and get go and try to get Buddy.
yeah.
So
I
and
yeah,
you can and all you got to do. That's where you would give your other pick. Probably with it would be actually with none and THT. Excuse me, I'm correcting myself from what I just said. It would be actually one pick THT, none to Indiana, and then one pick in Russ to throw in that 4-team trade. I don't know where Russ would go. He'd probably go either to Utah, I believe. He'd probably go to Utah in there and get bought out. I think he gets
Yeah.
bought out. I don't
There's
see he might play. I don't
yeah,
Utah might play him to get the fill in the seats.
yeah,
But I mean,
I'm
it's possible.
looking.
I don't want to put all my chips in bag on that trade. I just want to say here, I just want to say here that I think it's possible. I don't want to put it in the back burner, but I am high on that trade as far as what the players that we do get back because
Yeah.
I'm not high on Miles Turner. I just don't see I don't think we need him, man. I just don't think we need Miles Turner. There's not an organization out there that's trying to trade for him. He's been on the trade block for like 4 years now, I think, or at least it feels that way. And there's just something has to be going on with him. Like I don't know if it's his medicals. I don't know what it is. Like a lot of people are high on Miles Turner, and I'm just not. I don't buy it. Um, I'm looking at the bigger picture because he's been on the trade block for so long, and not one organization has tried to get him.
Yeah.
Like, what's up? What world are we living in right now that everyone's so high on Miles Turner, but there's no organization that wants him? So I don't know. I think there's something wrong with his medicals,
And
and I'm
yeah.
not high on. I don't think we need him, man. In this league, this league that we're in right now, I think we just watched it. The league is going to like a 3-and-D like type of thing. That's what you need on your team. Your depth needs to have 3-and-D guys. They need to be able to play both ways and be able to shoot the ball. And that's
So that's so just so you understand, that's where the value of Miles Turner's may be now. Is like he's a stretch five.
yeah,
He
he's a
can
stretch
he
five.
can he
He
can
could shoot the ball. I'm not saying he's not a
yes.
baller, but remember the your best attribute, your best attribute is your availability. If you're not available to play, then you're not worth anything. And
That's
I've
true.
had and this might be a hot take, but it's kind of how I feel about AD sometimes. And I'm not and I think I'm not the only Laker fan that thinks that is your best attribute is availability. Now
So here's a
his
hot take for
his
you though.
yeah his don't get me
Yeah.
don't take this as me saying that he's injury prone because the last injuries that he
Yeah.
had are not his fault. I'm not saying that at all, but he has been injured and he hasn't been on the floor, and with the result of that we haven't been able to win and use him as a valuable asset on the floor, and we haven't been able to see. And and this goes back to last year too, like when we did see Anthony Davis on the floor, I don't think he was playing at his best. I don't think he was MVP bubble Anthony Davis shooting from the corner saying Kobe. Like I didn't see that. I didn't see like the what's the word I want to say? I didn't see any Mamba mentality in him, dude. I saw him defeated. I saw him scared. Like there, and
There
the
was
reason
no
why I say
mortar. There was
scared, yeah,
no
there
there
was
was
just no like heart. He didn't have like heart, the desire. I don't know what I don't want to say the desire to play because I know he puts in the work, but there was I don't know, man. I just didn't. It was sad to watch him play last year because he didn't
yeah.
play, and when he was on the court, he wasn't. He just wasn't there. Like that's just what I saw. I don't,
Yeah.
and that goes for the whole team because that whole team wasn't there. That whole team was. I don't know, dude. Russ was doing some fashion in the back or doing something for his fashion shit. LeBron was probably the only one trying to play, but like was tired
Oh
because
my
he's
god.
37. AD was just hurt, not a bit and it's not his fault. But dude, yeah, man, your best availability is your best attribute for being a basketball player is your availability. And if you're not able to,
Yeah.
what if it's not your fault or whatever the case may be, but if you're not on the court and you can't showcase your talent or what you got, then you're worth nothing. You're
Correct.
honestly like you're worth nothing. You're
Yeah.
worth nothing to no organizations if you can't suit up and play for the basketball and play for the millions of dollars that you're getting paid to play basketball. So I don't know if that's a hot take. And I'm sorry for ranting on about that. It just really
No, I just placed my
injury.
mic
Like people show,
on
like
mute
people,
just to hear you
yeah,
out.
dude. Because dude, no, listen, like check it out. Like seriously, what
Yeah.
people try to throw out injuries like, oh, he was injured, this and that. Like, we're not going to throw that in there. But when you really sit there and think about it, you're injured and you're not playing. So, like, what do you bring to the organization if you're not playing and you're sitting on the bench?
Yeah.
And you're getting paid 37 or 47 or $36 million for the next 4 years, and you've been out for the last 2 seasons. So
Yeah. No,
I don't know, man. Like it's Miles Turner. I'm not high on him. There's something wrong with his medicals. He's been he's been on the block for about 4 years or something like that, or it feels that way. And there's something going on, dude. And I'm not high on him. I'll take Buddy, but he's not worth it first. So, dude, like I think the Lakers just need to squeeze in somewhere and try to get as much depth as they can in the wing, as far as the wing slot, so you can actually time manage AD and LeBron, and um, and hopefully that makes us a contender, dude. Because I think like look at the Warriors, they're stacked. Look how much depth they have, and they just won a championship. So
correct. Yeah.
This is just a remake of the 2020 squad that we're trying to do or replicate. At least I think that's what Rob's trying to do, and I honestly hope we can pull it off, and I hope we can get some pieces, man. Because I think we need to move on from Russ, man. I think it's happening. I don't know when. I think if you look at the timeline, everything's been dropping on Mondays. So I'm hoping next Monday we have either some type of traction, and we know that the direction that the Lakers are going in.
Yeah. Here's a hot take. August 24th, there's gonna be a trade.
August 24th. Okay.
Yeah, just because I need some good news, but
Yeah. 20.
uh,
Oh, tomorrow.
yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. No.
I don't think. I think the reason why I say that next week, I think Pat Bev and some of the players that have gotten received in trades, I don't think they can be. They're not trade ready until like September, or excuse me, we're in August, right? Sorry,
We're in
August
August.
30th. Yeah, August 30th to September 4th or something like that. So
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. I believe they can't move some certain contracts. I know Pat Bev, they can't move his contract until the 30th or the 4th. So we should be expecting something then. So that's 7 days from now. So it kind of suits in where I'm trying to say like Monday or Tuesday. So we'll probably get something next week. We'll probably get a little bit of, what do they call it? Call it again? Tip leaves, or what do they call it?
Tea leaves.
Tea leaves.
Tea leaves. Yeah.
We'll get some tea leaves this week, and we'll know more or less kind of where the Lakers are headed sometime this week, or excuse me, next week.
I agree. I agree with everything you said. Here's just where the things will go though. Like, because I know it's gonna go. It's just so just for people's understanding. Like, it's difficult to judge AD availability is needed, because you need to be available in order to win a championship.
Yeah, because he's top 5.
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely, if he's playing, he's healthy, and he's MVP caliber, and he's bubble. Like even the year before that, arguably he was playing good, and or he was playing good.
Yeah,
dude, I'm high on AD. It's just the availability, and it sucks that it's not all his fault.
yeah.
But
No, that's true.
If you're not on, if you're not on the court, dude, what are you worth, man? You can't, like, just imagine LeBron James not playing. Like, what is he worth if he's not playing? If he was injured his whole career, look at
Zion. Yeah, I didn't want to go there, but yeah, I understand where
Zion's a perfect example of that.
But there's a counter argument that's saying, like, look, Russ, he's been available all this time. He has value. It's just
that's true.
Like,
you're right. No, he has value. Dude, it's not. I'm not knocking on us, dude. Like, dude, the dude's a good player, man. Like, people. I think people forget that.
Are you on Russ Island? Are you on Russ
No,
Island?
I'm not on Russ Island, dude. I'm not on Russ Island. But look at okay, there. I believe there's a clip, or I don't know if there's an interview. Kobe was really high on Russ.
Yeah,
and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. The dude's a good player. Like, it's just what transcended on the court last year from what we saw it's just not the Russ that we need. It's not. It's all about fit. The dude does not fit on our team, and then I could say the same thing about THT. He does not fit on our team. not what we need right now. And if we're trying to maximize what the time that we have left with LeBron, we have to make moves now. Let's win now, or and we can't win in 2 or 3 years because we don't know if LeBron's going to be on our team in 3 years.
No, so that's so
So
yeah, and that's
I'm
where I
okay with
think
that. I'm okay with winning 18 and
yeah,
maybe
and
19.
18 can be now, it can be later, but just so people can understand this is going to be YouTube, this is going to be probably on Twitter at some point, but just so you'll understand, like we are we are realistic to the point where the competition now in the West is not the competition in 2020. So there's no when I say what's the next steps for the Lakers, what's the next step for the organization, what's the next step for everything, like I understand where there's pause and I understand where Palenka was saying patience because those 2027, 2029 picks, they are important. And you can view them in two ways. You can view them, we don't know what the roster is going to be. And if you want to make future trades, you need those picks. So it's just, they are your ammunition to go to war or to make deals. So I feel like the most complicated four-team trade, if that happens, props to Rob. He did a great job. I feel like that's maybe the direction that they're going in some sort of convoluted trade, but it could be also a lot of minor trades where they package THT non to get somebody else to get everybody healed, and then they dump Russ in a package of a 3-team deal rather than a 14 deal. Like,
Yeah,
like I feel like that's probably the most simpler path because when you're juggling four teams, that's very intricate.
yeah, it could get ugly.
Yeah, and I believe that what could be done also, and this also happened with Russ, is there could be ancillary trades where they can jump into the principal trade, which the principal trade would be Utah Knicks. They agree on principle to trade, and then on top of that, Lakers come in as a salary dump or as moving assets. So then you do a 3-team trade. That's how you get to a 3 or 4 team trade. Is basically you agree on the correct of the framework of the principal trade and then you add to it. The 4-team model is just you add to it just in case you want to add picks, you want to do some sort of stuff. But honestly, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I do know that it's pivot time. I'm on board that there's no way you can bring Russ to training camp. So I do hope that we do get a trade soon, and we do get some news or something. And other than that, yeah, just wanted to end on that because honestly, at this stage, everything that we have to offer is based on rumors, and in terms of like actual news, it's all the KD stuff, and I don't want to talk about that, but. And everything else is just oh there was one thing that I wanted to ask, and this is quick and we can end on this. On these teams in these trade scenarios, there's one particular player that's nagging on me, and it's because when we always faced them with the Clippers and when we always faced them with the Minnesota Timberwolves this past season, he was and I know you know who I'm talking about, Mr. Patrick Beverly. He is he's an annoying player to watch sometimes, but I can argue that defensively he can create a lot of defensive pressure. He can do a lot of stuff which the Lakers do need. He fills a void that I think will happen when you get rid of Russ. Are you higher on Patrick Beverly than you are on Schroeder?
Okay, and you concur, and this is just my opinion.
I mean,
Okay,
this is an opinion based channel, so
yeah. So Pat Pev, Pat Bev is a dog. Like he's a dog on the defensive end. He
What
can shoot
what type
respectfully
of
from
dog?
three.
Chihuahua or Doberman? Like that?
He's a pit bull.
Okay, he's a pit
He's a
bull.
pit bull. Like he's a miniature pit bull. He's a miniature pit bull, but he's one of those miniature pit bulls that you don't want to fuck with because he's just
Yeah,
a dog on the defensive end. Dude, he's pesty. Dude, he's the guy that you just fucking hate him, but you want him on your damn team because he's just so like just I don't know, man. Like he's a hype man, dude, and I feel like the Lakers need that. I guess you could, in a sense, because if you look at the roster, there's not a lot of veteran presence in there. It's a lot of rookies that don't have playoff experience, and he does. So does Schroeder, but Schroeder's a lot younger, and he's very athletic. He can get you a bucket. He is a score first guard, and I don't
correct.
know if that's exactly what we need at this point. But I think there is a move in there where you can actually get both and pick up Shooter off the free agency market and get him on the vet min, and I'm not opposed to that. So I'm not on the Pat Bev train, but I am high on him. I think he fits LeBron James. He fits our scheme. He fits Darvin Ham's system. And dude, I to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind seeing him in the Laker uniform. So I'm not on the
Yeah,
train. Don't quote me and say I'm on the train, but I wouldn't mind actually having both of them on the squad.
yeah.
If we're getting rid of point guards, I think Schroeder would be a good pickup for us to come off the bench.
Here's a scenario, Laker Nation or Lakers fan base. Why not both at this stage? Why not both?
Yeah,
But
they're
because
both better
there's
than I think that well all time Russ is better than both of them. But
probably
at this point right now, our
yeah.
fit that we need, they're better than Russ.
If I knew what I was getting for none in terms of production, because I don't know.
I actually
I
want to
don't
keep none.
know.
So
I want to keep Prime None. I don't know who None
yeah, I don't know
is
what none we're getting. So
after the injury. So
I don't
that's
know
my
if we
problem.
should take. I don't. That's the thing with none. Like, do we
Hmm.
take the gamble? Like, do we take the gamble that he's healthy,
Here's
or do we go with what we know and try and we get rid of him? So that I mean that's up to the front office. So I'm glad just to be a fan because I don't know how I would make that decision.
well.
But I
Here's the
wouldn't mind
thing.
keeping
They
none. I
have
just
to
hope he's
gamble.
healthy.
They have to
Yeah, they
gamble.
have to gamble. Yeah,
Like it. Unfortunately, the Lakers have to gamble. They don't have a champion competing roster, and I'm not 100% sure that whatever moves they make from now to then is is enough. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's not
all right,
enough. Indiana ain't enough. I don't
yeah.
think it's
I
Buddy Hill and Miles Turner for 2 first round picks is not enough for
like
what we have right now. I think we need the depth, and I think that's why we should pivot and try to move into these Utah and Knicks trades and try to get one pick.
yeah.
Excuse, yeah, try to get something from Indiana with like THD and Nunn in one pick, and then Russ in one pick and another, and throw them in that 3-team deal or something. So I mean,
Agreed.
in all, if you think about it, it is a 4-team trade. It's just they're just separate. So
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I think the
they're
14
separate.
trade
They'll be separate.
can happen. It's just
Yeah, it's gonna be two separate trades because
correct. Correct.
you have. I believe you have to trade. No, excuse me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Pat Bev, you cannot get him in a
So
trade
that's why I'm
straight up, right? I think
so
so, it's something like that. I
no
don't
you
know the.
so he can be traded, and I know this. If I'm wrong, well, I'll know when I see the comments if there is any. But
Hey man,
but yeah,
hey,
you
and
cannot.
shout out to those three followers, whoever followed us and liked us, subscribe,
Woo!
and hit us up on hit us up on Twitter if you guys want to be on here. We're
Yeah.
like, sorry, I don't know if I could do that.
No, you can do that. I mean, this is our podcast. And I we have the availability to put 10 more.
Oh, are you
Um,
introducing me as a co-host?
you are
co-host,
the co-host. Yeah,
co-host,
he
co-host
is.
over here at Hoops Corner.
He is the co-host. Unless his services are expensive, but hey, he's worth it. He's worth it. But yeah. So for Patrick Beverly, he can be traded in a single. So no more than moving. Like you can add players to his trade, so you can move him by himself, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
But by himself, that doesn't make sense. And
by himself.
honestly, I would. And here's
I,
this.
yeah.
Here's what I wanted to get by Patrick Beverly. That player, that like the whole scenario, getting Patrick Beverly to the Lakers. I don't mind it if it's via trade. Fine, I get it, but I would have preferred buyout because that allows you to add a different player that's not Pat Bev to the Lakers. That's how I view it. Now, does the salary match work? Probably not. I haven't looked at it. I'm just saying, like, I feel like if he's a buyout candidate, he is. And you could probably have Schroeder and, you know, Pat Bev in the same team because there is a benefit to Schroeder. If Schroeder is the sixth man, if he truly is the sixth man, like in terms of coming out of the bench, giving you energy, running the offense, that's crucial. That's what you needed in the first stint in the Lakers. And he didn't provide that. If he does provide that now, he is very valuable, if that makes sense. As a starting point guard, no. As a backup point guard, yeah, makes sense. But anyways, let's leave it here. There's probably going to be news. I hope this episode gets stale and that we have a trade. And it is what it is. Like it's just it's funny how things go on. But if you like this episode, please follow us, subscribe,
You like my
follow us on
rant?
Twitter. The Blunt One, the epic rants from the Blunt One. Again, you have to be quiet when he goes on a roll, and because he just pays he paves the path for things to happen because he's already 1 for 1. I just hope it's 2 for 2. That's what I'm shooting for. Allan, do you have anything else to say?
I don't actually have anything to. Oh, shout out to Kobe, man. Rest in peace. Happy birthday, bro. It's one love, man. Rest in peace, Kobe, Black Mamba, forever, forever.
Man.
Legends never die. Legends never die. Here, I'll leave off with a quote. Everything negative, pressure, challenges is an opportunity for everybody to rise. So, y'all take that how you want to take it. I hope it inspires somebody. Quick cafeteria room, guys, is a great podcast. It is on Apple Podcasts. I will send the links over to Tony, and he'll take care of that and get it out to everybody. Dude, that was fun. Thank you guys. I love you guys. Peace.
Peace out, guys. Later.